We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. As folks are piling, I want to wish y'all a very happy Sunday morning. We have lots to talk about today. Looking to keep it within an hour, but the longer we go, the it means we're having an engaged conversation. Haiti Biz News, as always, we're a conversational source, a news source where we're bringing and discussing what's happening in Haiti, but we're keeping it above board. We're talking about things as it relates really as much as possible to the business environment, to the economic environment. You give a economist an opportunity to talk about any subject, you are going to go in a informed direction. I like to hope, right? And unlike other places you're going to get information, we don't bring politics, we don't bring bias. We try to keep it as fair and balanced as possible, right? As always, that's why folks, I like to think, come back each Sunday to get information about what's going on in the country by someone who is in the country, right? Minus the fact that I'm stuck on the other side of the border right now, still waiting for King Moise to reopen that border so I can get back in there. But someone who's relocated back out there and has several businesses, I'm providing a perspective of someone who's doing it, right? And of course, whenever we can, we talk about the bigger, grander picture, which is how do we engage and be a part of that change from a perspective of charity is great, but charity has never changed the country, right? So again, folks is coming in. Hello, right? Again, Seejeanty here. Haiti Biz News Show every Sunday, 11 a.m. For those who can catch it live, great. Make sure you drop a comment. Say what's up. Everything is read on air. If you drop a comment on Instagram, drop a comment on Facebook, drop a comment on YouTube, it's read on air, right? So if you can catch it live, great. But of course, the reason why we do these lives and we save them is that you can catch them throughout any time during the week and get informed about what you may have missed, right? That's the beauty. C'est ça qui est belle avec lui. And of course, partagez, as our DJs like to say in Creole, partagez. The more folks we have in here, the better quality of conversation we're going to have. That is a guarantee, right? Of course, some of the things we got to talk about at the top of the hour, is the fact that YouTube Seejeanty is a thing, meaning we have a lot of content that we've produced over 2-3 years showing different aspects of Haiti. So if it's your first time coming in and you don't know what this is, it's really a channel dedicated to a different narrative, a different side of the country. So if you're not subscribed yet, head over to YouTube Seejeanty channel and go ahead and hit that big red button and then check out all the content we produce, all the different playlists, all the different things, all the different businesses, touristic sites we've highlighted over the time we've been on, right? We have a podcast. While we haven't been able to, because of COVID, haven't been able to shoot new content, we do have a podcast. The podcast is being received very well. The Mapimpo Haiti, the Haitian diaspora living in Haiti podcast, it's being well received. We're getting more and more folks are viewing it from all over the world. I got folks from UK watching. I got folks from Switzerland watching this thing, which is incredible. So it's great to see. We're getting a lot of exposure, a lot of discussion, and we had some great guests. In fact, the last episode we dropped, it was just me and my co-host Pastor Marc Antoine, just talking about what it is to live in Haiti, what it is to be in Haiti, from having a driver, from working with home help, right, from driving yourself, right, the whole transitional point of being an independent person in a country like Haiti. We talk about it. I learned something too. In fact, I've been overpaying for my groceries by a lot of money. I've been there over 3 years now. And even though I kind of knew it, I should have been using the Mashans. he made it very clear in monetary terms how much money I've been overspending by going that route and buying everything from the grocery. So it's an interesting discussion. And make sure again, if you're not, we're on everything. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google Podcasts, and then of course we're on Anchor, right? So we're on everything, right? And of course, we also package them as videos and put them on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page as well. So however you want to consume this podcast, we're giving it to you. You have no excuse. These are great conversations. In this coming episode, we have an African American, right, from the Nation of Islam in Haiti, running businesses, employing several Haitians, and impacting, right? So if we have a brother, again, all my Haitians who may be on here making excuses, oh, Haiti doit difficile, oh, corruption, tout ça, right? Making like a million different excuses, even though, hey, when you fly into the country, it's not devoid of businesses. There's every single business in the book that exists in Haiti currently operating, right? But of course, you come in, you say you can't do it, right? So I have on the podcast coming up this week, an African-American Nation of Islam brother in the country. I'm talking, he has long hair, the beard and everything. Nation of Islam, right? In Haiti, doing business. What's your excuse? I'm sure you have it. Right? And you can use it all you want, but you stay around this channel long enough, you'll quickly see whatever excuse you may be hanging on to. It's a bullshit excuse that you need to let go, because it's you not impacting and not working in Haiti is why Haiti is where it is, right? And Haiti only going to change is when we decide to stop making excuses, go do a venture, employ Haitians, and provide jobs. Right. So again, that's the podcast. Make sure you check that out. Everything we talk about today is going to be on Haiti BIZnews.com, Haiti BIZnews.com. As you see, I'm dropping the banner. Those who are watching me on YouTube and Facebook right now, you start seeing the banner scroll below. So everything, all the news stories we talk about today, Haiti BIZnews.com. Right, all the articles are going to be on there, and of course that's the website I created specifically to have a place where one-stop shop, all the economically important news stories that are happening in Haiti. You just every morning you can just pull it up. It's smartphone compatible, right? And I always suggest if you're on your desktop, make sure you're using the Google Chrome browser, because the browser has integration with Google Translate. And so you can automatically have all the French that is on that website automatically translate to English or even Spanish. I got some Spanish friends who watch as well to Spanish. And even on your phone, I know a lot of my folks who use Apple. I highly suggest you drop Safari browser and you go ahead and you switch over to the Chrome app browser, because same thing, the Chrome web browser allows you to automatically translate what you're looking at. Right. So this way you can, watch or read the site in the language that you're most comfortable. Right. If it's French, great. But if it's most likely if you're here, it's probably going to be English. You can translate to English using the Chrome browser, even on your phone. So keep that in mind. Right. You're coming in here. Do say good morning. And I see a lot of I'm going to say good morning back to a lot of the folks I'm seeing on YouTube and Facebook who are talking to me. But after you comment, right, share it. Right. I'm seeing a bunch of comments, but everybody who comments, please share it, because the more folks we can get in here, the more conversation we can have, the higher elevated discussion we can get to, because the whole point of this exercise we do every Sunday is to get a ROI. A ROI is what? A return on information, right? The more folks who are informed, the more folks who understand what's going on in Haiti from a non-biased WhatsApp perspective, meaning, you're not getting your information from your different WhatsApp groups that are exaggerating things, right? The better return on what we're doing here will be. So please, everyone, even on Instagram, you can share it, right? Everyone share it. Take a pause. I'm gonna pause it for 1 second. And I'm waiting to hear those clicks of those mouses wherever you may be. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it in a Haiti group. There's a lot of Haiti living in Haiti, are living in Haitians living in Florida, Haitians living in New York, 10,000 Haitians in New York, Haitians living in St. Louis, Haitians living in Chicago. So, if you don't want to share it on your page, share it in one of these Haiti groups. I'll wait. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Let me say hello to the folks who are in the channel here this morning. Let's see. We have Samuel Toussaint. How you doing, man? Good morning. Good to see you. We see you got Amani. Bonjour, qui j'en ouye. Nous là, oui. On est à Québec. On fait ça capable. Vous bon? Grâce à Dieu. Comme you dit. Nous là. Daniel Daudet. Is it true that Haitians are getting a $30 stimulus package? We're going to talk about it. And yes, Haitians are getting a package, right? But there is some limits, right? And we're going to talk about that, right? We have James Lubin. Good morning. Good to see you, man. We got Liz Z. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. We got Adele Alfred here in the chat. Good morning. Good to see you. We got William Kaliskit. Toujours bon avec nous ça oui. Bonjour frère. Là oui. All right. Tifa Caribe. Good morning. Good to see you. Right. Good to see you. Let's see what we got going on in IG. We got 501. What is up? 501 Motivation Music. We got DJ Jude Mix. Keep ye out là. Keep ye là. Haïti oui. Typiquement, mais même là, you block him. Toujours esprit, mais c'est haïtien. Great question. We got Ayana Tropicana. When is that episode? Would love to hear that one. Oh, it's coming out. Don't worry about it. It's coming out. And make sure you're subscribed to any of the many channels or have the podcast also subscribed, and you won't miss it the moment it drops. It should be out Wednesday or Thursday, so look out for it. We got A Victor 42. True, no excuses. Need to stop playing. Bust a move. Absolutely. D Dummy, what's back up to you? Thumbs up right back to you. We got Ugsnell Tour Haiti. What's up, man? Good to see you in the chat. And we got Yana asking, hey fam, this is about Haitian business things that are happening. Follow him. All right, there we go. That's a share. That's that. Yana is sharing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Right. And anyone who's coming in because Yana, hello. Right. So we have lots to talk about today. So let's kind of go over the headlines. What are the big talking points that we're going to talk about today? Let's get to it. So obviously we're going to be talking about COVID today, right? COVID, week 6 now, where we've had to drop everything and talk about COVID since the country has been locked officially, though they're starting to unlock it. We're on week 6, so COVID is going to be talked about today. The growing stigma of COVID, right? In Haiti, we have to talk about that. It's having some serious consequences, and it's going to be very dire, right? If we don't figure out a way to change, talk about it first, and then change the mindset of many Haitians that are dealing with it inappropriately. Haitian government aid, right? Haiti stimulus package. Right? Is it $1,200 like the US? How much is it? We'll talk about it today. The European Union has finally decided to contribute significantly to Haiti's response. We're going to talk about how much and what that may mean for the overall effort that the Haitian government is trying to do. We have the second edition of the Haitian Finance Summit. We're going to talk about that. Haitian exchange rate, it's happened. It's over 100 good. In fact, it's past 100 good on both sides of the equation. It's 102 to 104 is what you get back when you give $1 for good. That's dire. We're going to talk about that. Electricity. Lots of little talking points in electricity we're going to talk about today. Digicel wins a corruption case in the United States. We're going to talk about this. Sanitizer gel. There's some major developments happening in the sanitizer gel department in Haiti. We got a consortium of companies doing some real interesting things and making sure gel production is happening and it's going out to the world. We're going to talk about this. We have, and for our final news story, we have a very disturbing press story coming out of the Haitian Federal Football League women, and we're going to have to address it. We're going to have to talk about it. Some serious allegations, and that will be the last news story of the day. All right. So as you can see, we have lots to talk about. And again, if you want folks in on this conversation, partagez, as they say, partagez, partagez, partagez. Partagez live là. Right. All right, guys. So the first news story, COVID, all right. 67 active cases currently as it stands right now, active cases, right? We've had a couple recoveries that have happened since. We're at 10 recoveries, and the total death count as of today, this morning when I woke up, is 8 deaths, right? 8 deaths in total. And we compare that to the Dominican Republic because we have to stay very on the pulse of what's going on in the Dominican Republic, given their connectivity to Haiti. They have over 5,588 active cases and 313 deaths, right? So, and they're still increasing. They're not increasing as much. When you look at the amount of cases, there certainly seems as if they're cresting on the bell curve that is so important on this epidemic. They're starting to crest. It seems the growth rate is starting to be less, and active folks who are active is starting to decrease. So it seems as if we're hopefully maybe another month for the Dominican Republic. Anyhow, when you look at the curve for Haiti, it seems as if we're most likely on the uptick, right? It seems as if we're just hitting that exponential point where things are most likely going to get even higher, even quicker, right? And we're going to talk about one of the things I'm going to be contributing to it real quick as the next news story, right? So certainly Haiti's very far from being out the woods. I think as other countries are starting to see that bell curve starting to shift downwards, finally, Haiti's only going to pick up. And we do expect Haiti to be in the news for the next 2 or 3 months as the amount of cases increases and the amount of deaths exponentially increase, especially as you know, Haiti's health system is very much compromised, underinvested, undersupported. So it's certainly not going to be a very good few months upcoming for Haiti, unfortunately, right? That is unavoidable, right? That is happening, right? We're I guess as you can say, the eye of the storm is just offshore for Haiti, and of course we'll talk about it as things develop, right? So let's talk about the growing stigma. Let's talk about the growing stigma that I mentioned and alluded to in the top of the live stream. So Bernard Mebs, as those who may not know, Bernard Mebs is one of the leading hospitals in the country, located in downtown La Ville, Port-au-Prince. I probably want to say after Mirabale Hospital up in Mirabale, it's probably the second. And Mirabale is an incredible institution, by the way. It's one of the few hospitals in the Caribbean that is certified at international standards, right? I mean, there's just a handful, maybe one more, and down in the French Guiana, and then maybe another down in around the central part of Latin America that have the level of certification that Mirabale Hospital has, right? It's the certification you only find in America, right? So Mirabale is hands down a very important institutional hospital, but Bernard Mebs is second in terms of access, in terms of quality of care, in terms of the chances of survival, in terms of being relatively well funded by private donors. Bernard Mebs is one of the leading hospitals. Listen, when you're, may you be of means or regular Haitian, if you're in dire straits, there's one of the first places you will try to get yourself into is Bernard Mebs. Bernard Mebs has announced that they are abandoning their project to have a dedicated space for COVID. And that's devastating news to hear for the COVID response. But here's the reason why. The reason why is because of the pressure they're getting from the community that they're in. Bernard Mebs is located in Village Solidarité. Solidarité. Voilà. Okay. We're going to café a beaucoup sous long, right? And that community has said they don't want a dedicated COVID facility in their backyard for fear of a spread of the contagion. Right now, obviously, those who know how COVID is spread knows that this is nonsense. COVID doesn't spread just because you're near it, right? It spreads because something leaves your mouth and then you touch it and then you put it on your face, right? That's how it spreads. But the community has been so violently against this announcement, Bernard's participation, that they've had no choice but to not have a dedicated space. That doesn't mean that if someone comes and they would be tested, right, and they would do their best to treat them, right, but most likely what would happen is that person then would be sent to Mirabale Hospital up in Mirabale, right, instead of staying where they're at, right? They, because before they had in effect a quarantine part of the hospital where someone could spend the entire 2 weeks, the entire 4 weeks, so 2 to 4 weeks getting better and being treated. Because of the incredible amount of pushback they've gotten in the community they've been in, they've had to pull away from that, right? As you can imagine, that is incredibly bad, right, for the overall state of affairs for a proper COVID response, especially as I just mentioned, we're starting to exponentially grow into a much larger amount of infections, right? And this isn't unique to the village around Bernard Mebs. We're seeing situations like in Ish and in Fort Liberté, where there's been folks who've been tested positive at different medical facilities, and they fled for their lives, right? They fled immediately upon discovering their family immediately have taken them out of the hospital to hide them for fear of reprisals of the community. Once the community hears that there is a for sure positive case at a hospital, there have been instances of, in effect, mobs forming to get this positive person out, right, of the hospital, right? And so what families have been doing, the moment a family member has been diagnosed, confirmed COVID positive, they immediately take them out, immediately hide them somewhere for their safety. Obviously, that is a massive problem, because when you take someone out of a hospital where they can receive proper care and proper protections from a perspective of quarantining and keeping them safely away from people, and you put them back in the community, as you already know, as you can already see how this crisis is going to exponentially grow in Haiti, as you have folks who are positive, but instead staying in a proper medical facility are going back into the community, right? And once they're in the community, you don't know, right? We already know the situation of running water in Haiti, though a lot of folks have been stepping up. The government has been doing a relatively good job of getting soap and water, and different NGOs and different organizations and private actors have all been doing a relatively good job of informing and reacting. We're still in a situation where the majority of Haitians in Haiti don't have running water in their homes, right? And so when it comes to continually keeping yourself clean, continually doing things to ensure that spread doesn't happen as someone talks, right? And most importantly, if that person were to get sick to the point where they need a ventilator, or they need, because this is as any virus, the virus itself doesn't necessarily kill you. What happens is these other exploitative, bacteria who takes advantage of your compromised immune system take advantage, and that often gets you sick. And that's why you want to be in a hospital, so the hospital can go ahead and help treat these other secondary bugs and ailments that happen that will contribute ultimately to what kills you, right? So certainly, if you have, what I challenge everybody who's listening, if you have any family in Haiti, any friends in Haiti, do make sure you give them a call. Not only to check up on them and see how they're doing, but most importantly, to inform them, to let them know, hey, listen, Wash your hands, cover your face. And if anyone suspected of having COVID, listen, here's how it spreads. It spreads by ultimately you touching what they've touched, right? And if they don't have their face covered, then while they're talking, it might expose to you, right? And so make sure you have faces covered, especially if someone's suspected to have it, right? And then get them to the hospital. And also, if you see a band of mobs forming around a hospital, talk them out of it. Be part of a counter mob that talks sense to the irrational mob, right? But it's on all of us to make sure we do our part and spread the information that needs to be spread to our peoples in Haiti. Very important, right? We got Nate in the house. Good to see you, Nate from Hooked on Haiti. Happy to see you, man. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. Nate's someone who's doing work as impactful as I am when it comes to changing the narrative of Haiti. So you guys do feel free, if you're on Facebook, do follow Nate. He's doing some great work. Nate says, "Hey Chris, really enjoy the new the podcast, Pimp Haiti, right? Pimp Haiti podcast, and good stuff. Stay safe. Thanks, man. I certainly appreciate that. Certainly keep listening. We had a really interesting set of people coming up. I always try to keep it interesting. So thanks, Nate. Thanks for that. Let's see. Victor says, have you connected with IT Community Trust and what they're doing? So IT Community Trust is doing good work. They're doing some work related to philanthropy, right? They're really trying to create a fund that is contributed mainly by the Haitian diaspora, though they'll get different grant sources from other places. And then ultimately Haitian diaspora owned. When I say owned, I want to say as if it's because they're very much important. They very much position what they're doing as a collaboration between the Haitian diaspora and Haitian nationals. And it's really a co-led, co-run venture. So I want to be clear when I say that. But for me, the most important aspect is versus other organizations that do the same thing. They all will say this. They always say, oh, well, we're working very closely with the Haitians on the ground. But they're not Haitian. The folks who are inputting the most are not Haitian. And the fact that Haiti Community Trust, the big difference is it's the Haitian diaspora doing it. So I think that's phenomenal. But for me and anyone who's watched Haiti Biz News and anything I do, I'm really focused more on business, on entrepreneurship, on how we can foster really the only thing in history that's proven to change economies, which is economic development, how to foster investment, how to maximize your chance of success if you're going to do something in Haiti. And though they've mentioned that they are going to have a small entrepreneurship fund, but that just seems to be a tertiary activity. So that's the only reason why I'm not really I'm following them, and I'm whatever I can repost and talk well of them. I think they're doing great. Haiti's an elephant that needs many hands and needs many strategies to help it. So I always encourage anyone to engage Haiti on the level that you want to engage it. But this space right here, this space here specifically is a safe space for those looking to do entrepreneurship, right? Or investment or that vein. This is what this is, right? Though my Pimp IT podcast, one reason why I wanted to do it was so that even though my other media is really focused on the business side of things, my Pimp IT, it's a new area where I can invite a lot of different other people. So maybe at some point I'll have a representative of the IT Community Trust come to the podcast and they can talk about what they're doing. That's why the podcast is there. The podcast is there really to invite people from all walks and strategies to discuss what they're doing, really to understand that, because to me, the underlying component of the podcast is not necessarily what is being done, but the fact that we have Haitian diaspora and just diaspora in general. Again, we have this Nation of Islam, a good friend of mine who's going to be on the podcast this week, coming back, living in Haiti, investing and impacting, right? And however you do that, that's great. And that's why the podcast exists. But in general, you'll see what I actually talk about in the media, in terms of the media I produce, is almost always going to be business, right? So, in any case, I do know what they're doing. shouts out to them. And I wish that they continue to push forward, because again, it's going to take a lot of different strategies to help impact Haiti. We got Team Conde on IG also following up and saying a hospital is equipped to handle COVID-19 patients. This is week 6 of talking about COVID. So we have 5 previous episodes where we've talked about what's being done from a perspective of preparedness for Haiti. So you feel free, catch up on those episodes, because each week is we're providing important developments of what's going on, how funds are being used, what the government's doing. So please feel free and update that. But the short answer is, the Haitian government's doing the best it can, but it's hard to respond to a medical crisis when for over 30, 40 years, there's been very little investment in the health sector in Haiti. So it's very hard to basically do. It's like trying to do open heart surgery, and you need all these modern tools to do it, but yet you have plastic forks and plastic knives. That's kind of where Haiti is, right? So it doesn't really matter what the response is, because where you're starting at such a primitive level of medical care, which is why there has been so much focus and concern on Haiti because of that, right? But nonetheless, great question. I appreciate that. We got Matt from Canada. What is up, man? What is up? Speak ease. You know what I'm talking about. Good to see you, Matt. Happy to have you on the chat. We got Jiggies said that. First time I'm seeing Jiggies said that on the chat here today. Jiggy says, I believe the reasons families are removing their loved ones is because of fear of dying. Same thing in Pakistan, families are keeping their sick relatives out of hospitals. Okay. Thanks for that perspective, Gijis. That is certainly another potential reason why folks are indeed keeping their folks out of hospitals. So thank you for that input. I appreciate it. Thanks. So let's move on to the next news story. And this relates to Haiti government aid. Right. And so as folks have already commented in the chat, the Haitian government has decided to do what many large developed countries are trying to do, which is provide some supplemental income to the population as a whole. King Moise came out on his recent presidential address to say that to follow up on the promise he made, which was that he was going to provide. Initially, it was announced that Haitians in the city was going to get 3,000 goud, which is equivalent to about $30 now, though it's a little less, about 29 and 80 cents or something like that, right? Given the exchange rate keeps decreasing the value of the goud, but it's roughly $30. And then the countryside was going to get a bit less, somewhere around, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 25 or 2,400 goud or something like that, which would be equivalent to $24. But then he announced that everyone would get 3,000 goud, right? Now the total population expected to be dispersed in the coming week. This coming week there's going to be an initial disbursement of 1.5 million. Already, we have about 30,000 people who've had that 3,000 goud dispersed. We've in the initial rollout of disbursement is 1.5 million. It's through Moncash. I already said 1.5 million. The initial disbursement channel is going to be Moncash. For those who don't know what Moncash is, it's a service provided by Digicel, where folks are able to have electronic currency, and technically folks could leave the money in their Moncash account and then transact through their phone. I'm sure folks have been keeping track of how many African countries have moved digitally to transacting. I think the biggest probably is Zimbabwe or Kenya, that really very much moved away from a cash society to more of a digital currency society. And Moncash has been trying to do that for quite some time, but a lot of folks, they have Last I read the statistics, they had over somewhere around 2 million people on Moncash, right? And so the very first disbursement of these funds are going to be going to folks who have Moncash accounts, because it makes sense if you think about it, right? It's less prone to fraud. It's much easier to validate where things are going, audit, most importantly, right? When it comes to Haiti, it's a lot more easy to audit money that's going through Moncash. And it's safe and secure, right? In terms of, because imagine you're trying to give money, the only way ultimately the majority of people are going to get it, which is physically giving it to them, or they physically go pick it up somewhere, right? That obviously attracts what the chance of congregating and not following social distancing, and ultimately spreading the disease rather than help out with it, right? So this is actually a brilliant way to get money directly to the people and not contribute to inappropriate activity, right? So that's really the news update, right? I think as the weeks goes on, we do expect more and more distributions to happen. Jovenel Moise has said that he is wanting to get this 3,000 good to all Haitians living on the island as possible, right? And that's really where it's at now. We can easily debate and say, is 3,000 good enough money, right? I mean, heck, in America, Americans are arguing and saying $1,200 isn't enough money, right? So I can't tell you that 3,000 good, which is again $30, isn't, we'll argue it's not enough. But the reality is that there's many Haitians who that is honestly what they make, like within a month, a good month, right? A good month, the profit that they walk away with is 3,000 good, right? After expenses and everything, whatever their activity is. If it's a driver, right? If it's someone who is working in a restaurant, their profit for the month after their initial expenses just to get to work and work sometimes is just 3,000 good, right? So while we can sit here and be very court about the amount of money, for many Haitians, this 3,000 good is going to go to really impact and be helpful at a time of crisis, right? Now, is this enough? Is it enough in the long term? Should the Haitian government continue to do more? The Haitian government has said that they are aggressively working on providing masks to the population. They've had an incredible amount of donations of masks, not only because we talked about before, many textile factories have been producing masks. Somewhere around within just 2 weeks, they've produced, in addition to private actors and private companies and what I call them workshops, right, have produced somewhere around 4,000 masks, 4 million masks. And so they're working actively to distribute these masks now, which is another very important activity. There's been last night, Prime Minister Juth said that passed a ordinance stating that in addition to the fact that they're already on curfew, no one should be out after 8 p.m. There is going to be an ordinance that, again, even in businesses, folks should be wearing masks, right? Before, the ordinance was if you're out, you need to have a mask. But even if you're in businesses, you should have your mask. And even if you're in an office space, you should have a mask on, right? That's a new ordinance that was just passed. So the Haitian government, for its part, I can say is doing as good as the Haitian government could do, right? And so for those who say I never say anything good about the Haitian government, do save this clip, pull it back, right? I am speaking well of the Haitian government. They are, bless their hearts, and doing as well as you could expect a Haitian government to do, right? So that's where we are with that news story. Let's take a look and see what folks are saying. We get Nick Maron saying the thing with King Jovenel Moise, and those folks who watch us long enough know why we refer to President Moise as King Moise, right? He's currently ruling parliament. He has not held elections to put new senators and deputies. And so the government is literally being run by one man. King Moise, first of his name, is the government as it stands right now in Haiti, right? So Negmawon says the thing with King Moise, King Jovenel, is that he makes too many promises that he does not keep. I hope that 3K HTG is good. It's true. I mean, it seems to be, right? Again, we already have confirmed about 20,000 folks who have received it. And Digicel has announced that they have plans to distribute through Moncash 1.5 million, right? The money has already, the check has been issued. It's passing through Digicel, and it's going to be handed off to folks with Moncash accounts, right? And there's some folks, actually, as I understand it, everyone. So if you have a Moncash account, great. Right away, you're going to get the money. Now, if you have a Digicel phone number, you're going to get an SMS text by Digicel saying, hey, the Haitian government's trying to distribute money to you, to the Haitian population. Come open up a Moncash account. And you can open them up. You don't have to go to Digicel. You actually press, there's a code you put on your phone that will right away allow you to open up a Moncash account associated with the phone number, right? And so once you follow those steps, it's like £654, something like that, then you'll open up a Moncash account right there from the comfort of your home or wherever you may be, and then within another day or two, you get that money, right? And so that's pretty good news, right? That's pretty nice to have a relatively sophisticated way for folks to receive aid from the government. So yes, right. My Liberté says, while not a lot, it's still something. Many countries have not given even $1, and this can relieve some burden on the diaspora who, let's see, I may be having some issues on the internet. Okay, no, yeah, let me know. And says this can relieve some burden on the diaspora who on top of reduced wages also have to send money overseas, right? So I totally agree with My Liberté Financière, and good to see you, my brother. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat and watching, right? Always appreciate you, right? So that's that news story. Let's take a little sip of the water here, and we'll move on to the next one. Thanks for that. This next news story has to do with the European Union. The European Union is providing $165 million to Haiti, right? It's part of a larger 918 million euro Caribbean fund to help support Haiti's COVID-19 response. We talked about this last week, where we did say that the European Union was in talks with the Haitian government about understanding what the issues are right now as they're trying to respond, and that was going to be a part of the allocation of what was coming. So this week we have the news of how much it is. Again, it's 165 million euros, which is incredible, right? It's right up there with I think the last institution to give this much was I'd have to take a look at my notes, but I believe it was either the IDB. In fact, I really do want to take a look at my notes here and see the last institution that gave this much. We did have one. I want to say there was the IDB or the IMF that gave around 100 some odd million. Let's take a look. Let me take a look at my show notes here, and I'll let you know which it was. It was the World Bank, 20 million last week partnership. So no, we had, I think, no, that we actually have to go back a little further to see which institution gave 100 million plus in terms of funding. And I don't think we have an institution yet that's given nearly as much. It's given nearly as much of funding as these guys have, right? Let's take a look here. Yeah, bear with. This is a statistic I really want to review here. It's a big deal, right? right? 13 mil. No, this would be the record as I look. There it is. IMF had 116 million. In fact, I need to keep after this newscast, I'm gonna keep a little database of a record sheet of how much money they've received thus far. Haitian government, that is. And I mentioned it last week. They were already up somewhere around almost pushing 200 million in terms of money they received. Now this infusion by the European Union certainly pushes them to almost 300 million, which is an incredible amount of money, an absolutely incredible amount of money, right? As you can imagine. So we talked about this before. When you have that much amount of money being circulated and sent for anything, the opportunity to take advantage of it, right? And certainly a Haitian government that has already proven that they're not above taking money needed for important infrastructure, education, medical projects, and using it for God knows what, because the money just tends to disappear. How are we going to measure transparency? How are we going to measure? Is there going to be a procedure, an audit in place? Is there a report going to be provided that's going to show a dollar for dollar income to expenditure of this money and where it's going? And most important, ensuring that this money is going to where it needs to be going. Yeah, these are the questions we certainly have to ask. Certainly the questions you as diaspora have to ask, right? Because this money isn't a small amount of money, right? It isn't a drop in a bucket. This is money that can generally change the lives of millions of Haitians, right? If spent well, right? For its part, the European Union has said that money is going to be closely watched, and the goal here is to help with infrastructure support, medical response, and also to help with subsidizing essential workers, i.e. teachers, i.e. those who are part of the food trade, right? That is all a part of this $165 million that the Haitian government is receiving and supposed to wisely spend, right? Ma Liberté Financière follows up and says, just hope this does not evolve into another Petrocaribe thing. You and me both, Ma Liberté. Me and you both, right? The next news story has to do with the 10th edition of the Haitian Finance Summit, right? The theme this year was financing the green economy in Haiti. We had a lot of the usual names that we see at these sort of conferences, right? We have a lot of folks who, well-regarded economists that you've seen them in other places come on. A lot of influential business people, media personalities were there and a part in providing information. It was a 2 or 3 day summit. Why this summit in particular was notable was that it was one of the first summits that were done almost exclusively on virtually. One of the first big conferences in Haiti that have decided to do it virtually. And I must say, there were some sound issues here and there, but I can tell you it looked pretty professionally done, pretty professionally executed. And hats off to the participants who were able to pull that off. I always, Haiti can be criticized on a lot of things, but I can tell you the folks who are in Haitian media have very early on have really utilized live streams and social media in a very innovative way. I remember, I don't know if folks who really watch, Haiti related stuff, but I mean, seeing concerts, because I remember you folks who've been watching and keeping track of all these little IG lives that such and such is battling such and such, and those who are familiar with the Babyface versus Teddy Riley and the technical issues that Teddy Riley was having, right? And I remember seeing a meme that says, somebody needs to get Teddy Riley with some of these Haitians, right? Let me go ahead and make sure there we go, get that quiet there, right? Somebody needs to connect Teddy Riley with one of these folks who run the Kaimi lives, right? The bad lives, right? Because, you have these lives happening and you have the, advertisers on the bottom and you have the, row of contacts and, it's very, very technical stuff. But in any case, the Haitian Finance Summit was done exceptionally well. I watched a good amount of it. Right now, as with many of these conferences, we certainly hope that, actual action comes out of these things. It's always questionable of how much actual action and change is imparted out of these conferences. But a benefit of participating in these conferences is the networking that happens, and the fact that this was supposed to happen on the campus of not campus, the Hotel of Caribe, and it didn't happen. The effectiveness of the summit, I wonder ultimately how that's going to be. I think certainly if I was to lead a summit strategy session, my contribution, okay, cool. Yeah, certainly we can get faces up and people talking to a webcam. That's cool. But the question is, how do we get engagement? How do we have conversation happen between different people? Because at the end of the day, the strength of these conferences, and I tell folks all the time, when you're trying to network in Haiti, these conferences, if they're not worth anything else, they're great opportunities to meet people who are equally as not just passionate in terms of idea and want of doing things in Haiti, but a lot of these people are actively involved in doing something of impact in Haiti. And I always say, amongst not only visiting the country, but also try to attend, a handful of these very bigger conferences because of the fact that you can meet and network with people directly. And the fact that these virtual summits, I don't think acknowledge that. And these virtual summits haven't properly provided means for folks to contribute, right? And it might be as simple as chat, making sure there's an active chat for folks to be able to discuss, just like we do here on Seejeanty. Everything's read, right? I actively want folks to discuss and talk and talk amongst themselves. I like when I see within the chat when someone's responding to someone else. I'm like, all right, cool. This is fantastic. We're having conversations amongst the group watching, right? So that was my 2 cents on that on the summit. We got Annette Boucard in the chat. Good to see you. Happy to have you. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Hope to see you again. And we're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. chopping it up on the Haiti Biz News Show. My Liberté follows up, says, happy to announce I have a house in Haiti built. So if one day the country gets stable, certainly think about converting that house you built while you're not there. See if you can convert that to Airbnb. There's a lot of money to be made. Usually during regular times, you can look on the Airbnb app. You'll see countless of Airbnbs, and most of them are booked for 2-3 months. Okay, so here's a little tip for you, man. All right, and I do expect a 10% commission for that idea. I'm kidding, man. Use it. Good luck with that. Right. Let's follow up with additional news on the economic condition of Haiti. We have the Haiti exchange rate has finally crossed over the 100 HTG mark. We've been eyeing this for months now. It's finally happened. It's very problematic for the economy as a whole, though it is an arbitrary number. The important aspect to understand is that within the past 2 years, we've seen a devaluation of the good equal to about 40 to 45%, right? Which is incredible, right? Because it adds incredible inflationary pressure, right? Not to mention inflation itself. And to understand, inflation is something that, assuming the value of a good stays the same, the underlying amount of good that you need or currency you need to buy something has gone up because of factors not necessarily connected to the currency, right? Say if there's a gut in supply, as there has been in Haiti, because of we've had the past 2 years, we had incredible drought. A little good news on that front. We've had a lot of rains this year. So this is the first year in 2 years that we were having a good amount of rain. So that's very good news for preventing a very serious famine that we're already experiencing in the country. But so that's one. And then paylock was obviously a massive shock to the entire function of the economy. And now we have COVID, right? And so independent of currency issues, right? Usually you have inflation because of other aspects, other things that are going on in the economy, right? And so in addition to that, which we do have in Haiti, we have a currency that's losing value vis-a-vis other currencies, right? And what reason for that is because we have a very weak import dependent economy, right? Because the more you bring stuff in, right, the more money you have to currency you have to use to get another person's currency. The value of that other of your home currency vis-a-vis the currency that you need goes up. It's not necessarily your currency is going down, but it's the currency that you're trading that you need to get the product is going up. It's becoming much more in demand because again, we're in a fiat economy, a fiat money economy where money's allowed to free float. We don't peg currencies, right? And thus you're getting a currency that is in effect has the same. It's the same. The sentence is still equally valid to say, okay, that your currency is losing value, right? Because it takes more to buy something, and it's adding pressures in addition to the fact that you have underlying issues in your economy that's causing prices to go up, right? Now the solution, of course, is a very simple solution. That's simple. It's a very straightforward solution that it's not. I was talking to someone the other day, and they say that Haiti has had the same problems, right? Someone can easily get discouraged, right, and say, "Well, Haiti's had the same problems for over 30 years, right? The same problems." And you fight, and that person's been fighting, and it's the same problems, right? And then I asked the person, "So why are you not discouraged?" And that person laughs and says, "You know what? I'm not discouraged because though the problems have stayed the same, the solutions have stayed the same. The solutions haven't changed. And one of the big fundamental pillars of necessary solution to getting Haiti out of where it's at, it's national production. It's just that simple, right? We have to produce more stuff that we can produce at home. And of course, it starts with agriculture. There's no reason why we're importing 100% of our rice when, as recently as 1980, Haiti was 100% self-sufficient in rice production, and we still can be, right? There's no reason why we can't produce our own rice. We can't produce our own maize, right? We can't produce our own corn. Hell, guys, are you aware even our mangoes, as people who love Haitian mangoes, we import almost half of the mangoes from the Dominican Republic. Hello. What? Are you kidding me? Right? So the good, again, is officially, last I checked, about between 102 and 104. A dollar will give you 102, 104 good. There isn't much to add here except that until we have a Haitian government that really is willing to be brave enough to put very serious import tariffs up, there is going to be a temporary period of a few months up to a year where it may get a little tough domestically in Haiti, because when you put tariffs up, prices of food will go up, but that encourages, especially simultaneously, a government that is serious about tackling the issue with this currency and ultimately the degradation of the national economy, will simultaneously very aggressively pour as much money as they can into native agriculture. You immediately do a tariff as high as 50%, because that's what it used to be in the 1980s. To import rice in the country, you had to, by the way, those who are on IG, IG has a 1 hour limit. So once it's about to end here, I'm going to restart the IG live. So those who are watching, look out for it. And within a few seconds, I'm going to kick it off and rejoin. Okay. So the solution is straightforward. Hit an import tariff, and then simultaneously aggressively work with small farmers to help improve their yield, right? As in providing equipment, providing equipment, providing training, providing seeds, heavily subsidized. Because again, when you look at America and you understand America heavily subsidized, America is one of the most subsidized agricultural economies in the world, and they're not unique. France heavily subsidizes their farmers, right? Every major economic power heavily subsidizes their economies. Again, in America, those who know anything, even a little bit about what's going on in America, we heavily subsidize our corn. Specifically, there's a type of sugar that is heavily subsidized and used in everything. Soda, sugars, like everything. I'm sure someone in the chat can help me out with that specific strain of additive that is heavily subsidized. That comes from corn or corn wheat, right? But in any case, that is one of the reasons why junk food is cheaper than good food, right? Because the Haitian government heavily subsidized that turns to sugar, and it's put junk food, makes junk food so much easier, cheaper than actually healthier greens, right? We know this. Fructose. Thank you, Barbara Pierre. Thank you so much. Fructose. Fructose is heavily subsidized in Haiti, in America, right? So that's just one example, right? Thank you, France. Fructose is what it is. Thanks, guys. Definitely appreciate it. Heavily subsidized, right? And again, so it's not unique, right? And it needs to be done in Haiti, right? It needs to be done, right? Right. So that's where we're at, and there is going to be no change in the currency until we have a Haitian government that is able to deal with. There's going to be blowback. There's going to be blowback. The reason why it hasn't been done, in addition to the fact that there's a lot of corruption being done, given the way the system is right now, right? So let's just say that's not a thing, right? One of the reasons why it's hard to do is because you get blowback on both sides. You have a U.S. government and USAID who benefits greatly by the fact that they're able to purchase American rice. So American farmers they get paid in full, right? Whatever the market price is, they get paid in full. And then America turns around and then gives it to Haiti basically for free, right? And of course, they feel good and they're saying they're helping with the food situation with Haiti. But meanwhile, they're devastating, obviously, any chance of any Haitian farmer trying to make money growing rice, because you can't compete with free. You can't compete with zero, right? Right. Now, let's just say the USAID is trying to do good by doing this, right? The moment the Haitian government stops doing that, you do run the risk of pissing off America, right? Because you run the risk of pissing off American farmers, right? And as we know, American farmers are very well protected by certain political actors, right? And can very easily turn this around to make it very uncomfortable for a sitting Haitian president or Haitian parliament, which we know, as we're seeing right now with how Jovenel Moise is able to vote against Venezuela, right? It's very hard to vote against what Papa Sam wants, right? So that's the first thing you have to understand. And the second thing you have to understand is the Haitian people. Unfortunately, the fact is, to do the right thing, there is going to be short-term misery to get long-term success and long-term benefits. And the short term is there would be a decrease in the supply of rice, which would drive the price up, which would make things very uncomfortable. And folks know Haitians are very quick to express their anger, right? And so to get on both sides would be very difficult. And it would take a genuinely, what's the word I'm looking for? It would take a very genuinely strong and mentally fortified government to take that sort of strong action, given the fact that the incentives are really there not to do the opposite. Okay. Right. So I think I can go on for quite some time on this particular topic. So I'm not. Let me try to move on. Because me, this is something I can easily go an hour just to talk about, right? So we'll try not to. Exactly, Barbara Pierre. Thank you so much, Barbara. You're awesome for watching and being part of the conversation. Thank you for that. Strong-willed, resilient. Exactly. These are the words I'm looking for. Lizzie follows up, says, question: do you think astronomical increase in imports is the country's way of paying for the economic aid it receives? This is an issue for countries as well. The result certainly of aid is that, right? And so it really takes, at the end of the day, it takes an effort by those who are currently providing aid to change the way they're providing aid, right? I think at the end of the day, as a lot of us are Americans here, and as Americans, we can do things such as contact our representative, contact our senator, right? Their offices are generally have ways to contact from between writing, between calling them, and those who are generally interested in the interests of Haiti can say, listen, we need to help Haiti, but the way we're doing it is wrong, right? We can't just be shipping things for free and dumping products, right? We should instead be working with the Haitian government to help train their farmers. We should be working with NGOs to help fortify agriculture. We should be working with private actors to help fortify the production so they can add more jobs, right? And there's ways to structure it too to make it win-win. For example, the whole textile, the fact that Haiti, the Hope Act is good for America because why? They're getting the cloth that's supposed to be used in the factories. Guess what? It's supposed to come from America, right? So America's still getting something out of it, right? Because right now the way things are structured, it's structured as a way for America's agriculture to basically get demand and get their products purchased and then shipped out, right? So you can still have it structured in a way where you have America still winning financially, because it's all. I understand. Listen, there's nothing free, right? Everything. There's money behind everything, right? So let's just keep it real. Let's just not be naive about it, right? And just have these conversations. Say, okay, all right, cool. That we can still structure it to where Haiti generally can improve its situation. You provide actual impactful way to change the dynamic of the country without simultaneously devastating and making the country a welfare state, right? How can we restructure the relationship so Haiti is not a welfare state, right? That's the discussion I think we all in America, we can do. We don't have to wait and sit around and say, oh, I have to move back to the country. No, moving back isn't for everybody, right? Investing in Haiti isn't for everybody. Sometimes you want to just stay in America. I'm not telling you go to Haiti's, it's not an easy place to do anything, I tell you. But what you could do, what everyone can do who's watching this right now, you can call your senator, you can call your representative, you can organize campaigns amongst your friends who are also very Haiti conscious, and get America to do the right thing. Get America to do the right thing. Change how it is structuring its aid from one where it's encouraging a state that is subordinate and dependent, and instead work on creating a state that is finally able to sustain itself, right? That's my challenge to everyone who's watching. Everyone who's watching, you're challenged, right? That's your challenge for the week, right? Especially, or maybe they might be your state people, your representatives and senators might be a little busy with COVID, right now. But as things settle down, that's your challenge, right? So, all right, so let's move on. Electricity. Jovenel Moise has made an update on electricity situation in the country. First update. For those who don't know, Haiti has been experiencing, the Port-au-Prince metro area in particular is experiencing incredible amount of blackouts, more than usual. We've had very few hours. Usually on a good week, each week we get about 8 hours of electricity in the metro area a day. 8 to anything more than that, you're grateful. But as of late, it's been only maybe 2 hours a day, right? They've been rationing excessively. There has been some rains, and that's usually one reason why you see a less electricity output, because the Pellegrini Dam, which is very important for electricity output for the Port-au-Prince metro area, is usually low. Though there's been rains, there's still been a rationing of electricity because of because of, right? They haven't really said the reasons specifically why, but we're safe to say that a big part of it is because of the budget. A big part of a big chunk of electricity that is produced in Haiti comes from the purchase of diesel and the expenditure of diesel. And as of late, the administration of Jovenel Moise has decided, this has gone for many months now, not to subsidize the activities of EDH. EDH, they're basically saying get your stuff in order, and try to get people to pay. Most people, 80% of the bills per month of EDH goes unpaid. And so all this has contributed to a decrease in electricity output in the country. And they're promising to get electricity rates back up in the next few weeks, at least by middle of May, for who knows how long that will last, if it actually happens. Most importantly, King Moise said that he's walked back from his, for those who have been unfamiliar, they've had 24-hour promise. They said in 24 months, you get 24-hour electricity. We are well past that mark. He made that announcement back in 2017. We're well past 24 months. As you can see, we're very far away from getting electricity 24/7. In fact, he, on the recent May 1st announcement, he said that actually what he meant to say was that he expects 24/7 electricity in 2030. And on top of that, King Moise has said that he expects 100% renewable energy output and to be up to 4,000 megawatts by 2030. Bear in mind, we're at, our actual output right now is around 300 megawatts. 300 megawatts is the demand. It's like the daily demand, basically, right? Is what we're at on average, right? Though our capacity technically is around 500 to 600, right? That's our actual capacity is about double that, 500 to 600 or 700 to 800. And our actual demand, actual what we would need, right, is upwards of 900 megawatts and above, right? So we're producing 300. We need about 900. Our technical output, our capacity is around 500 to 600, right? And so, as you can see, there's gaps. There's major gaps, right? And he's saying we're going to get to 4,000 megawatts using renewables by 2030. That's a new story, guys. I'm not going to add any more input, any more ridiculousness, hyperbole to that news story, other than just telling you what it is, right? And you guys, I'm sure, are snickering. I can hear it. I can hear it from here, right? And I don't blame you. I don't blame you, right? My Liberté says, still not worse than when I was there, when we had like not even an hour electricity, day and night, hard to sleep. Now, certainly it depends where you're at, My Liberté. I don't know where you were in Port-au-Prince, but certain parts consistently get more electricity than others. For example, I know Denmark 33, gets upwards of darn near 24 hours of electricity because of the fact that that area is where the electricity first comes in, and the grid is so poorly built. It's it's very poorly built, but it benefits some places other versus others. Like Denmark 33 almost always has electricity. These certain parts of Denmark 33, certain parts of Route Fouet has a good amount of electricity. Airport Road, by design, gets a lot of electricity. Pétionville gets it during the day, right? Not so much at night. So it certainly depends where you're at. But still, on average, even the good places I've mentioned, like Pétionville and Route Fouet and these other places, they're only getting 2 hours a day. Thankfully, my office has solar panels. We have over 8 solar panels, 12 batteries. So even when electricity is not hitting, we're still more or less covered because Haiti is sunny 300 plus days a year. So I'm a big believer of renewable energies. Let's be clear. I'm just not a big believer of the Haitian government being able to do anything like that, right? Fontamara near Cafu. Yeah, that area, is always, oh yeah, doesn't get too good electricity. Even when things are good, that's as good as you're gonna get. You're gonna get about 2 hours a day. So yeah, I certainly understand your frustrations, them out there. Certainly. We got Johnny Lee in the building. What is up, Johnny Lee? Good to have you here. Always a pleasure to have you here. Happy to have you. Right. So let's move on. Next news story. Digicel wins corruption case in the United States. Digicel wins a corruption case in the United States. This case was filed by Haitian immigrants through the New York courts, who were frustrated about the transfer fees that Marcelli put on the Haitian diaspora or anyone really, sending money in. This is a case that's 8 years long. It's been in the courts for 8 years. The court case referenced not only Digicel but Western Union, Cam Transfer, basically any corporate institution that had to submit to that law of the Haitian government. They were effectively sued to, in effect, stop that activity and give that money back. The Haitian courts, unfortunately, dismissed the case. They didn't see the case, right? The immigrants said that the diaspora themselves had a sovereign right protection against getting such a fee levied on this transaction. But unfortunately, the U.S. courts didn't see that they had necessarily authority to rule against it. But most importantly, they just didn't buy the argument. They didn't really see, how that argument applied to the situation, and thus threw out the case, which is certainly a big blow for us in the diaspora. I certainly was looking forward to us having a more positive resolution to this case, because again, as we know, the reason why the $1.50 was levied on remittances, and again, I think up to a quarter. Whenever you make a phone call, there's a quarter that is levied up front, right out, directly to the Haitian government. One of the reasons why this was supposed to be levied was to help improve education. Right, we were supposed to have universal, free, compulsory education for students, but as we know, there hasn't been any real change in the amount of students, children who go to school. Like there was the first year or two, there was a big show of it. From there, we haven't really seen any additional activity or growth in that sector. We still have a lot of teachers who aren't getting paid, right? Who have not been paid in months. We haven't really seen the building of new schools. Though we did announce a couple months ago that upwards of around 10 schools were going to be completed at the end of last year. But it's unclear if those funds were indeed coming from the tax fund. And that's one of the big problems of this, is that we don't know where the money is, right? There hasn't been much in the way of transparency, which is an incredible problem for Haiti generally, but of course in a situation like this only adds to the frustration that the diaspora has, right? So that's where we're at on that news story, right? Let me take a look at what folks are saying. Garden Pierre, when are you planning to move back to Haiti? I think Garden Pierre is certainly new, because I live in Haiti, right? So welcome to the channel, right? Obviously we're stuck here because the airports are closed. We're stuck here. So I guess if you're asking when I'll be back, it's when the airports open up, and that's a question for King Moise, not a question for me. So that's a new story when it comes to the corruption case, and certainly a big blow for the diaspora transfer fee, right? We have the next news story has to do with sanitizer gel, right? So very interesting story. As someone who talks very, very heavily, all the time about national production, as you saw, I did a very extended little rant on that. We have an association of organizations. That association is Berling SA, that produces rum, Agriterra SA, Agro Foods SA. They've come together and very quickly in the past 3 weeks have produced hundreds of gallons of hand sanitizer. What's interesting is that not only are they selling domestically, you can find these sanitizers within Dr. King, with the brand is called Dr. King, in a lot of the major stores in Haiti, right? But the fact that the vast majority of what they produce, they're actually going to America, right? The vast majority of what they've been producing is by FEMA standards, and they're being shipped to America, right? Again, the brand here. Again, I want to talk about that because again, if you are in Haiti right now, or you know family in Haiti, and you want a very solid brand of hand sanitizer, Dr. King is the brand name, right? Again, 70 to 80% of what's used for the hand sanitizer comes from Haiti, right? Because a lot of the alcohol actually is coming from Haitian sugarcane, right? Because remember, we use sugarcane to turn into what? Rum, right? But also that's an alcoholic product, and alcohol is a big component of what makes hand sanitizer effective, right? And so this is phenomenal. It's happening in Quadra-Bouquet. Actually, the facility is in Quadra-Bouquet. The entire operation is in Quadra-Bouquet. It's providing dozens to hundreds of jobs to Haitians in a time where the jobs are very hard to come by. And again, I just want to get that piece of information out in a time where I haven't been able to provide much news in terms of what companies are doing from an economic development perspective. We know so many hotels have had to close down because of the level 4 and then COVID, but to have a story where we have an association of industry responding to a need nationally, but also responding to opportunity internationally. That is fantastic. And Liz Zeev says, "Hey, I wouldn't mind a little Barbancourt in my hand sanitizer." I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You and me both, right? So again, Dr. King is the brand. Again, if you're in the stores, do buy that hand sanitizer in Haiti. They have a brand that's coming out. The brand that's going to be actually American facing is called San Per. Let me type that in for you guys. So again, if you ever run across that or see that, and of course they are taking. I did speak with a representative. They are taking orders, right? So if you are in need of a large bulk order, right? Bulk order of sanitizer, and also want to be supporting Haiti. You feel free to send me a DM, email me, Seejeanty at Hypro Solutions. The contact information is below. And I'll put you in contact with the representative. And let's make it a win-win. We're attacking the health crisis in Haiti, in the world, in addition to providing real opportunities for Haiti in the way that matters the most, through jobs, right? The final news story, and this is quite the story. I'm going to have to take a little sip of water before I get into it. We have quite a bit to discuss here. It has to do with the Haitian Football Federation. There's been a very disturbing news story, allegations of sexual abuse. Now, this is, I can tell you, very hard for me to talk about, because one of the few non-economic stories I love talking about whenever I had an opportunity has been the performance of our female football women, right? Our football women from Gnarly, and then we have another woman this most recently who's been doing phenomenal. She scored, actually. She won the gold or Ballon d'Or, right? MVP. Let's just say MVP for the last cup that the Haitian women were a part of. gonna get her name for you guys. I really want to give her a shout out. She is absolutely phenomenal, right? Absolutely phenomenal, right? Let's see if I can get that name real quick. Of course, if anyone who's in the chat wants to drop the two names I'm thinking about, right? The woman, phenomenal young female from who did exceptionally well in the last cup performance that Haiti participated in, and then the year before that, she's currently playing for, I believe, PSG. The year before that, and she was a woman who actually had the Haitian government build a home for her because she was doing so incredibly, right? I'm not getting that news story, unfortunately. I'm not getting that news story pulling up on my part. Soccer. I'm not getting that news story pulling up on my part quite yet. In any case, the Haitian football has been an incredibly bright and important spot for Haiti, and it comes with tragic. I mean, if with the news stories coming in, allegations are true, it's very disheartening. We had the Haitian Federation president. His name is Yves Jean-Bart. The allegations have come in that he's been a part since 2000, a part of sex allegations with the young players at the academy is located over in Croix-des-Bouquets, and since 2000, there's been stories and many women have come out and their families have come out and expressed and shared that they've been threatened with being kicked out of the academy if they did not provide sexual favors and other inappropriate touching and other inappropriate things to Yves Jean-Bart, which is incredibly, that's right, Darlene, I think Darlene is her first name. I don't know about Radamaker, but Darlene is a part of that as a soccer player's name. Again, I don't know if Darlene's a part of this scandal, if she was ever proposed. I just wanted to say, two players that were exceptionally phenomenal, right? So I want to connect them to this story. But The Guardian is the news source that broke it, has broken this. And in addition to the investigation of sexual allegation, there's been other allegations of inappropriate misappropriation of funds. For example, in 2016, FIFA provided over $6 million to the Football Haitian Federation. And during a recent audit, after those funds are distributed, many players complained that the living conditions weren't adequate. We had over, we would have 10 players sitting or in a same room sleeping. The diet was insufficient, right? It would be the same food, not well provided. It's not a very nutritious diet provided to these players, right? The same food would be provided, right? And didn't see a connection between the money that was given to the effort, to the conditions of the players on the ground, right? In response, as without a surprise, Yves Jean-Bart has said that these allegations are false. They've expressed that in the years that he's been running his organization, going on over six terms now, that there has never been an internal allegation provided through the appropriate means. This is the first he's ever hearing of anything, right? And additionally, FIFA, in addition to the other allegations of misappropriation, they've sent auditors and many folks have said nothing has changed. There has not been a change in behavior in terms of investments for the students or the attendees of the academy on the ground, right? And in fact, FIFA has not yet responded to both the more serious allegation and of course, the secondary allegations of misappropriation of funds. And of course, this news story is a breaking news story. It came out only about 2 days ago, and there's been an incredible large firestorm of reaction by many people. It's been exceptionally disappointing to hear, not only because it's been such a very strong focal point of national pride, right? How well our women have been doing, but to hear that, this so many of these women have been violated, right? And we don't have a full list of who has been or not. A lot of the sources are still confidential, right? Particularly as this investigation is going on. But we certainly do hope there is consequences, right? Whatever that's found out comes to light, and if true, we do hope that those who are involved in this go to jail, right? Because we have minors being involved, minors being taken advantage of, and at the end of the day, this is something that is nationally important, given the national implications of what these women were doing for us. I mean, this story is very in line with the American gymnastics story, when you had that doctor who was supposed to, be watching the health of these young women and taking advantage of these young women. And usually, as we saw, even with that story, there was a web of people who knew about what was going on, but yet protected the doctor rather than protecting the women, the young women involved. And I suspect we're going to have that same sort of, as the story develops, this same sort of network of folks who are protecting, if this is true, protecting the implicator, right? And we certainly hope not just the implicator gets arrested and spends a long time in jail, but everyone involved in that story, right? So that's the last news story. I generally like to leave these news stories upbeat, but fortunately, I didn't have a chance this week. Not a particular happy place to end it, but still, it's a place where we're going to have to end it nonetheless. And again, for folks who stuck around the entire hour and a half we've been on air, I want to thank you. You make it worth it. Appreciate the folks who contributed in the chat today. Certainly, I think we had a very nice return on information session, as it were. Those who want what we talked about out there, right? Because what we're doing here is doing what? Providing factual, Haiti-focused, non-biased information that's happening in Haiti, as much as we can. Try to get it towards business-centric, and we're doing it in English. Not too many places out there that are really focused on. We're giving you Haiti news each week of what's going on in English, right? But not too many places doing it in English. So we're very happy to have folks who consistently come every week. I got my regulars. I got your seats are prepared for you, right? My regulars, for example, my Liz Z. I got a chair for Liz Z right there. I got a chair for Samuel Toussaint. I got a chair for Daniel Dodart. I got a chair for James Lubin, right? I got a chair for Adele Alfred. I got a chair for my guy Miley Bater, right? I got a chair for. Let me see. Let me go through who else. My regulars. I'm looking for you. My regulars, right? Johnny Lee, it's becoming a regular. Got a chair for you too. Nate's usually in here. Got a chair for Nate. Daniel Dodart, got a chair for Daniel Dodart. The chairs are reserved. Nobody's allowed to sit in them. So everyone who comes in every week, if I did say Lizzie, right? So everyone who comes every week, I do appreciate you guys. Neg Marwon, of course, you got a chair too, right? Everyone who comes every week, definitely, certainly appreciate you guys. And again, even the ones who are too shy to comment, I know there's a lot of folks who watch me and are a little too shy to actually type something in. Listen, I know who you are. You don't have to say nothing. Your chair's back there too, right? So again, we're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Certainly appreciate you guys, right? We're going to keep the conversation going. As always, for those who may be new to Seejeanty, what we do here, as always, make sure, to subscribe to the channel, right? YouTube, we have a lot of content on there. Make sure you check it out. Right now with COVID, we can't shoot any new content, but we have the podcast we're aggressively producing content for, right? So please, make sure to check out the podcast. We're on everything: Apple, Google, Spotify. We're on everything. We got some really cool episodes. We have this really cool episode as well that's coming out with African American Nation of Islam brother who is doing business in Haiti, already has a growing staff of Haitians working for him. We're going to talk about that in this podcast episode. So make sure you're subscribed, however you want to subscribe. So in the moment we drop that episode, you get it and you can listen to it. All right. We got some other folks coming in, some guys who are trying to hide there. Of course, Sammy Lammy. Of course, you got to share, bro. Don't worry. You got to share, Sammy. I got you. Eddie William. You got to share. Right? Shania Mill. Déjà connais. You have a chair. You have a chair, Shania. I got you. Don't worry about that. Right? And also to follow up, of course, the podcast, Haiti Biz News, everything we talked about, Haiti Biz News website, Haiti BIZ News. Watch it on Google Chromecast. Google Chrome. Google Chrome allows you to translate what you're watching to English automatically. So use Google Chrome to check out the website. You get it from French to English, right? And of course, as I'm looking through Johnny, it's good to see you, Johnny. Happy bon travail, merci mon frère. And Johnny Celestin, before I don't get a chance to say it, he's doing some great work. Has a Le Mojo show. He's doing some stuff. When you're done listening to me, usually the Mojo show goes on Sundays later in the day. I believe 2 or 3 or 4 in the afternoon, around that time frame. And also it's a Haitian issue focused show. And he talks about things happening to Haitians everywhere, not only in Haiti, but also in America, right? And different issues and different things that are relevant to Haitians. And so Le Mojo show, he co-hosted with Madame Ferrari. Excuse him. Mona Lisa is her first name. I got that right? And so great show. Highly recommend Le Mojo show. You just type that in your search on Facebook, you'll find it. Le Mojo show. It's a real produced show. And thanks, Johnny, for coming in. And again, yes, share the stream. Again, as always, if you enjoyed this episode today, enjoyed what we have going on, please share it. That's how we get a return on information. Share this episode to the folks who you feel would find this interesting. All right, guys, that's where we're going to end it. Again, every Sunday, 11 a.m. Listen, guys, until we're back at it again, we're back at it again. Peace.